Hello and welcome to my Yu-Gi-Oh channel. So here's the turn up for the books. We've got a brand new Forbidden Limited list for December 2020. This is to kind of deal with some of the issues within some of the new popular cards and some of the old popular cards, which need to be adjusted to promote more diversity within Duel Links. These are just balance changes. So the first card to be forbidden, and the only one to be forbidden, is Invoked Cocytus. It's the reason saying is because it's difficult to remove from the field. I think because it attacks using its attack stat, but it's in defense mode, which means its defense is actually higher. I think it's over 2,600, something like along those lines, which is why it needed to be just got rid of. It's very easy to search through, all of the invocation and Alistair. It's just too simple to do. The card that's limited is Karakuri Merchant, model 177 in Sichi, and that's to limit the popularity on the Karakuri archetype. It's apparently too consistent. The cards limited to 2 are Magician of Dark Illusion. It prevents Dark Magicians to generic limit 2. The reason to do that is you just don't want to be running, Dark Magician cards are heavily supported, and it's one of those archetypes that's just running around and causing chaos. Interesting is several of the Shurinuri cards are also limited. Solitaire is because it's to promote deck diversity. I know Solitaire is just painful. When you get that card out, it just helps to just spiral those moves. Sensaga is difficult to deal with. I think that's either the level 8 or the level 10. Either way, it just gets rid of your cards, and it's a pain to sort with. And of course, Spirit Master as well. I think that's the level 4. That's also to promote deck diversity. Crystron Citri, I'm not actually understanding on what that is or why that's relevant. So if you know, leave those comments down below. But apparently it's to help reduce Crystron's win rate. I suppose what I know of the Crystron archetype is that they can synchro summon during your opponent's turn. If they have trigger effects that work on your opponent's turn, that means you can stop your opponent from doing things and disrupt their turn before going into yours and beating them up. That's essentially why I think so. Scrap Recycler is apparently because it helps to support Crystron synchro summoning as well. So seems to be Crystrons are doing much better. That's why they're being limited. And GNX controller as well for limiting the setting up for Crystron synchro summoning. Dragunity is also having a bit of a limit of Centaurs. And I think this is because they had the whole structure deck when that came out. So that became a bit of a nuisance. It made them very much more competitive, as you had a very, very clear cookie cutter style deck, and you would essentially just need to mix and match certain cards to fulfill the win rate for that deck. Limited to 3 invocation, limited to lower consistency in decks using this card. It's used everywhere. There are so many decks that just run invocation and Alistair just to get those fusions out. Whether you're looking at Cocytus, which is the one that's now banned, or you've got that big bulky Earth attribute one, which has got over 3,000 attack. I can understand that. Fusion Reserve is limited to prevent play with generic limit of 3. Again, it's one of those cards which helps search out for your materials, and you want to just prevent that from being too strong. Both Magician Navigation and Magician's Rod are being limited to promote deck diversity. I can understand that Navigation is a nuisance. It has 2 effects. First effect is it just special summons a Dark Magician from the hand and the deck. Second part of the effect is basically, apart from the first turn it goes to the graveyard, it can negate an effect of a face-up card. All of your cards, when you activate the effects, become face-up, so it shuts down anything. That is too strong. The thing about Magician's Rod is it's a generic searcher for the deck, and that being itself a problem, as that can go for navigation, it could go for a Dark Magician as well. Any kind of support card which is just too strong at the moment. Assault Armor is being allowed back due to acceptable power level of the game. It's a card where I think it gives 300 attack and defense to a warrior type monster, but actually you can scrap that card to the graveyard to let your monster that was equipped gain 2 attacks for the turn. I don't know how that was used. I think it was used in things like Elemental Hero Neos decks. So I know those were running around being incredibly powerful at a time. Less so now, so that's why it's coming back to 3. And as for those that are now unlimited, you've got Dragunity Divine Lance. It's because Centos is now limited. I'm not sure why this was restricted at any point. So if you know if there's anything to do with that, leave that down in the comments. Hero Shadow Scout is apparently acceptable in current power level of the game. I think that searches for various spell cards. I think that sends some of them to the graveyard as well. So maybe there were ways of kind of recovering some of those cards. And Donper, Marksman for Hire, it's to do with easing limitations due to lower usage of for hire decks. When the deck initially came out, it was quite powerful. That was back quite a while ago. It doesn't really have too many issues at the moment. The big problem was, I think it was Dyna, which was the 2,500 attack monster, and you also had the defensive monster with, I think it was something like 2,800 defense, which were big problems. This obviously just added to the consistency of those decks.